Guess who's back? Back again.
You didn't.
I am back. Yeah, that's right. I'm back. After missing my first episode ever.
Was that your first episode ever that you
Really?
missed?
That was the first episode I missed.
No
You
way.
lie.
No, I don't lie. That's it. You go through and you
No,
watch
you
them
lie.
all.
I'm going to
No.
have to.
You're going to have
No,
to
you.
because it's true. So yeah,
Well.
I'm back. No more lame intros, Chris.
What? I killed it.
He
I
did
killed it
no,
while
I
you were
told him he
gone.
did a good job. I was gonna
Thank you.
intervene if he didn't because I edited that one, but no, he did good. He did well. We do have one cast member who is pretty pissed off about not being on the last episode, though.
Who dat?
Who would that be?
Poor
Little guy right behind
yo,
me.
Damn.
Porgy boy.
Yeah,
Look
He-
at him. His disapproving
Look,
face.
yeah, he's
I'm-
mad butthurt.
God.
He is real not happy about that. So
I'm sorry, buddy.
yeah, he's
How
front and
can we
center
forgive
now.
you?
They say they're sorry.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right. So, now that y'all are friends again,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
maybe
did
I'm
it.
going to talk about what we're going to be talking about today.
Wild.
Which would
So
be?
now that we're all friends again, Chris, why don't you go ahead and let the people know?
Cool. Today we're gonna be talking about friendships, the friend groups. What's a good number of friend groups? How do you get overwhelmed with too many friends? You know, is it good to have a big circle, a small circle, tight knit? What kind of friends do you have? Because that can help evaluate, I guess is the right word, how happy you are. Maybe you need to change some stuff. Maybe you're perfect. Maybe people need to learn from you. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. I know personally, I'm friends with a lot of people. However, there's always a common theme of like, who's the most relevant in my life at this moment of time, right? So there's usually about 4 people that I talk to on a daily basis. And you know, sometimes that goes up to like 15. Like some days everyone reaches out, some days a lot of people don't. Some days I feel like I'm alone, you know? So it's like, who do you interact with on a daily basis, and who do you trust? Like, who are your best friends? That's a strong term, as a best friend, you know? Like, if somebody asked me who my best friend was, it'd be tough. I wouldn't really have an answer. I could tell you, well, the past 2 years it's probably been Jared because I'm stationed with him and we do everything together. But my childhood, it was Randy. I hope he heard that before he took his headset off and walked away.
I hope so.
Good. He's never coming back to the podcast
For
anyway.
those
He's gone.
of you who did not see, Randy just walked away at such an insulting comment. Oh boy! Randy,
Did you hear me at least compliment you before you left? I didn't compliment you, but I said in childhood you were my best friend.
No.
I don't think that saves the comment.
True. Joey's never been my best friend. He's been the pain in the ass brother that I've never really wanted. No, I'm just kidding. I love Joey.
Feelings mutual. What?
Yeah. No, it's nice, but I'm sure everyone can relate, right? Like every few years your friend group changes. It's just who are you close with and why? And I think, you know, during high school, at least me personally, I'm not friends with anyone I was really in high school. You know, like we're always, if I ever visit back home, be like, hey man, let's meet up for a drink, or like, what's up? Like, let's hang out. It's always a yes, you know, and we kind of just start where we left off. But we don't talk every day. I wouldn't consider them my best friends at all. And not saying like I don't enjoy hanging out with them. I really do. It's just life has taken us elsewhere, you know? We kind of drifted apart. And same thing with like, I mean, this is huge in the military. I'm going on so many different tangents right now. I'm going to give you boys a chance to speak here once I'm done. But like in the military, you form best friends like for life. Like brothers, you've gone through shit together, right? Joey, you can attest to that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And then the worst thing, they're pulled away from you. And it's like, what do I do? And you have to make brand new friends. And Randy, same thing with you. Like when I moved away, I mean, I'm sure that was a big hit to you. As we've discussed in previous episodes, it's difficult, you know? So your friends are always changing. But like, what's a good number? What do you guys have? Like, how many friends would you guys say, how many best friends do you have?
I don't really think you could put a number on it the only thing that you really look for is those people who are like really sturdy in your life. Something like they're a rock in your relationships, and like, you know, they're you always have to have a rock in your life, one who never leaves you because he's in a portrait on your bed. Anyways,
Go grab him. Let's see who you're talking about.
Alrighty.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. That was smooth. I was not
That was
expecting
good.
that.
My boy Dwayne the Rock, Holden the Rock Johnson.
Makes an appearance again. I don't think we've seen him since season 1, have we?
Oh yeah.
Have we seen him since season 1, Joe?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, I think you saw him maybe a little bit in season 2, maybe the beginning, but it's he hasn't
Season
made an
3 is
appearance
making
in
a
while.
comeback.
Yeah,
Let's go.
He's gonna
That's
be
awesome.
around a lot more often now.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I don't think you can really put a number on best friends. There's just the ones that you come across in life that will always be there for you. But you'll know who those are. It's a very far and few between. I can count. For me, it's probably around 5, definitely less than 10. Shout out to my best childhood friend from New Jersey, Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Like, we don't talk to each other much. We don't talk to each other much.
Kevin.
I hate you. I hate you. We don't talk to each other much anymore, but he's one of those people that you know, like what you said with the drinks thing. It's like, hey, I'm in town. Do you want to hang out? And if neither of us are busy, it's a yes.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
Yep.
It's
But-
great. That's really it's really nice to have, and like the military thing, like you serve with these people. It's Veterans Day, so we got to mention this, right?
Happy
Hey.
Veterans Day.
Thanks. Yeah, you too. You're welcome for my service.
Wow, what a
Um,
dick.
We're still active, but
Yeah. But no, like you serve with these guys and you make memories. I actually just read a post. It was a long post about how veterans, make life friends because they've gone through unique stuff that no one will ever fully comprehend, minus the ones that were there. The struggles, the happy, the crazy stories, everything. And no one understands that. And it is very difficult. That's why even when you have like a civilian girlfriend or significant other for us, right? Like it's difficult to relate your experiences. So when you have best friends that you've been there and like you can talk to that stuff about and like get stuff off your chest and vent, it's incredible to have a best friend like that. So yeah, but the ones that have moved away, you're always going to have that. You can always reach out and everybody knows that. So that's great to have.
especially now with social media, it's very easy to stay in touch with each other. I actually just had 2 friends that I helped move. 2 friends just leave in this past 10 days. One just went to a country overseas and will stay there for 2 years or more. And then another one just went down to DC area. And just lost two of my closest friends I could tell anything to. But as you said, they'll always be there to reach out to. Yeah. What about you, Randy?
Yeah, well, it's funny. I would say I got to agree 100% with Joe, number one here. I would say the majority of my best friends, or I would say all of my best friends, I probably don't see once a month.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky. Like, all of my best friends are people who have, in one way or another, they've moved on or I've moved on. And, it's not because we don't want to see each other. It's just that circumstances don't necessarily allow for it. Like, even some of the people who I'm best friends with that live closer to home, I don't get to see often because our work schedules don't match up or whatever the case may be. But, yeah, I mean, I will say I'm very thankful that I have a lot of very good friends. And, like, a lot of people that I would call my best friends. And, like, even, like, Talon and Jared, who I've only really known for the past year and a half. But, like, we've talked about so much together and, like, been through so much together now that I feel like they're my best friends, too. And it's an amazing thing to have people that can be there for you like that, even if they're not physically there for you.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a big part of it. It's not necessarily who you see every day or who you hang out with every day, but it's like who has the biggest impact on your life, and like who helps you out the most? Who are the people who always come back? You know, even when you haven't talked to them in a while, like who are the people who always come back, or who are the people who make the effort to talk to you even though you're 1,000 miles away?
But tonight you look so pretty.
Wow. That's a good point. You know, I actually made an Instagram post, you know, thanking you for that on my photography page. It was a cool picture of you, and the caption, I was like, what do I write about Randy? And I was like, there's so many things to write. How he's dumb, you know, his brain goes a million. I'm just kidding. No. I wrote about how you're always there. You know, you reach out no matter how busy your schedule is, you reach out. Everyone needs a friend like that. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Because you could be going through shit that people don't know you're going through. And when that one person reaches out, hey man, what's up? How you doing? Let's catch up. You know, it's fantastic. I actually just did that we've had Sam on the episode and Dallas. Well, we haven't had Dallas, but her boyfriend Dallas. I called both of them up this past week, and I was like, hey, like, what's up? How's life? You know, what's been going on? What's new? And they're both getting ready to leave. You know, it's crazy. Military life. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, I say it's just, you know, it's crazy how, like, even though they're not there, like, I'll say I had somebody reach out to me the other day. It's somebody from my last job who I talk to often. I talk to them almost every day, but things have just been really busy with work, and I haven't really messaged them too much or anything. And they texted me the other day, and they were like, hey, hope everything's good. Hope everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's
And I think you're right. I think you absolutely need those kind of people, and I feel like I'm very lucky because the majority of the people who I stay friends with and that I really care about are people like that.
Yeah, and you are who you attract, right? So I think that's the saying. You attract who you are, something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
So clearly you do that, and people will then return that favor to you. So that's a great quality to have for anybody.
Yeah.
So talk about the numbers real quick. I've mentioned this book before in the podcast, The Little Book of Huga. I finished it. It's a fantastic book.
That's pronounced.
If you're watching
Huga?
on YouTube, yeah.
It will
It's a
always
great
be
book.
Higgy to me and Joe.
It's a great book. Link will be in the bio for audiobooks for 30 days for free. You can listen to it on there. I've had some friends listen to it. They enjoyed it. Randy, got anything else to say about audiobooks?
No.
Okay. You get 30 days for free if you click the link in the bio. We appreciate you.
Down. I'm pointing down.
We're all pointing down.
Let's
Now
not
we
forget.
So I brought the book up for a specific reason. Huga is this concept of, you know, togetherness and happiness. And so one of the polls says, how many does it take to Huga? And it talks about how the Danes, it's all about like Danish culture, right? So it talks about how the Danes are not like, they're friendly, but it's hard to get into their inner circle. And that's kind of what inspired me to do this topic today was, who is your inner circle? Like, who are your best friends, right?
Definitely
and so
not
I'll
you.
show you. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll show you the results. And the answer was overwhelmingly 3 to 4 people, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So, first off, get this book. It's fantastic. You won't regret it. Second off, yeah, 3 to 4 people is about the key to me, for me. And you know, I was on the aircraft. I was flying yesterday. You guys will never know what day yesterday was.
Oh yeah, you're from the
Shit,
future
you
now.
will.
I forgot.
Yeah, time change, whatever. I was flying. There I was flying. And we've talked about the psychology behind like the forming, the norming, the storming, and performing stage. Joey will know that because he's in the Air Force like me, so they teach us that. I don't know if Randy has heard that before,
haven't heard
but
that one
basically,
before.
all right. So for those who don't know what this is, when you get a group of people who are trying to work together, right, like just a bunch of new people, you've got your forming stage. You're forming, you know, you're trying to learn each other, trying to see what processes work best. And then you've got your storming phase, which is what I think we're all in right now for my crew. And I've talked about, I was like, guys, we're storming right now. And it's like the nerdiest thing I could ever say, right? But it's true. It's true, though. And like it's when you identify that, it helps. It's like, you know, we are. So the storming phase is you guys are clashing, right? Like, why are you doing it this way? I do it this way. Like, why can't you see my way, right? So that's a storming phase. Then the norming stage is when you kind of accept everybody and you start seeing what works best and why your way might not be the right way. and you compromise. There's a lot of compromise.
That
And then
is
the
sorry.
Go
That is
ahead.
the most apparent thing ever in basic training. When you have
Yeah.
50 dudes, like, or 50 women as well. I assume they're the same, where everyone just comes together from all walks of life, and at
Yep.
first everyone's really timid and just kind of, the forming thing. And then it seems like right in the middle, everyone is just kind of like battling each other. And then same thing, and then right at the very end, everyone becomes great friends, and actually that's where some people make friends for life. But anyway, go on.
Yep. So that's that performing stage, right? So now, so for example, my crew would be in the storming phase right now. And then pretty soon we're going to hit that norming phase where it's like, okay, we're going to do it this way. I'm done arguing. Like, doesn't matter. It's not important. What's important is getting the job done. So we're going to do it this way. And this is what's worked best for us, for our group. And then you just start performing, right? Once you figure that out, it's like go time. It works. So it happens throughout all walks of life. And where was I going with that whole story? Where was I going?
Something
Something about the Danes. Oh, yeah. Got it. Click back in. I was on the aircraft. There I was. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, well, we've got, people up the front, people in the middle, like where I'm at, people in the back. And even though we're one big group, right, I'm wrapping this all into the amount of people it takes for Huga, right? So we're in one big group. Say we got 20-something people on board, 30-something people. Doesn't matter. There's always sections. People tend to section off and go with who they're closer to. So maybe they're from the same part of the country. They kind of stick together, right? Maybe they're the same nationality, so they stick together. Same race, they stick together. And it's not racism. It's not like one's better than the other. It's just what they're comfortable with, right? And I think that's important. So even though you might have 20 good friends, you're going to be closest to about 3 or 4. And I really enjoy that they showed that in the book, because I've noticed that firsthand. Like, I literally watched that occur on my crew. And it's very interesting to me. It's like the psychology behind who are your best friends in life.
That is actually really cool when you think
Yeah.
about it, when you look at it from that perspective. And the same thing
Yeah.
happens in just the regular workforce too, where, it's the same idea. Like maybe people closer in age stick together, or people,
Exactly.
That's a big one.
it's all the same things you said. I'm not going to go through and repeat it, but yeah, I mean, the same thing happens at just like regular jobs where just you have like different cliques.
Yep. And it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just like that's who they can easily relate to, and that becomes best friends, right? Now on the opposite, like when I first moved to Omaha, as they called me, a Yankee from the Northeast. All my friends are like from the South, and it was strange to me because I had never met anyone from the South. And when I got here, everyone was from like Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, like all good old boys. And it was great. Like I was part of that, and it felt really cool. And that was probably the most out of place I've ever been with like my best friends, because I just didn't have anything. Like I wasn't raised the same way they were raised. It was totally different. But it worked. So I'm not saying you're always going to go with the people who are closest to you, but maybe it's because they were closest to me in age. Maybe they had we all like the outdoors. So you always find something that you have a common ground with. And that's where your best friends are formed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Military
to
is
touch-
awesome.
Go for it.
Military is awesome for just kind of like watching how you make friends too, because you get moved around so much, right? That you get placed with a whole bunch of different groups of people, and you could watch where you go each time. And I mean, I got, you're in basic training, and then you go to your first duty station, then you go to different places, different jobs, and every time you have to find a new friend group, and you end up making a lot of friends all around the world. But you're just always placed with new people, and again, you're gonna just find yourself putting yourself in some similar friend groups, and it's kind of cool to watch.
So I want to ask you boys, like, do you think that 3 to 4 friends, like, would you consider that applicable to your life, or do you have more or less? I know some people who have like one good friend, and that's it. Like everyone else, they just kind of, brush away. Like, I don't really need, like, thank you. Like, they're friendly, right? They're not like jerks about it, but they don't keep in as much contact with that person as they do with like this one person. Yeah. So what do you guys think?
I want to say I kind of fall in the middle. Like I want to say yes and no. because I feel like I have, like, if I really think about it, like right now, I would say I have like 5 people who are like the really, really, really close people. But then like, I've thought about this a lot, actually. I almost feel like I have tiers. Almost like I feel like I do have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends because I feel like I'm involved in a lot of different things. Like I have like my baseball friends. I have friends from other jobs. You know, I have you guys. I have, you know, like you guys as being like my lifelong friends who I've known forever. But then I think I have like almost like sub tiers where it's like I have 1 or 2 friends who are my friends that I would tell anything. Like absolutely anything, I'll tell them. Then I have like a second tier of friends who it's like I'll tell them most things, but not everything. And then I have like a third tier of friends where it's kind of like I confide in them, but like I wouldn't tell them a whole lot of stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
Honestly,
I feel like that's where I kind
align
of
myself with that too.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of fall into that because like, you know, and I've mentioned Katie on the podcast before. Like she I would say is probably like my best friend. And she's like one person who I tell everything. And you know, I'm not like afraid to hold back with her. I don't feel like I have to. Like I know no matter what I tell her, whether it's, you know, stupid or embarrassing or like whatever it is, she's not going to like judge me for it or like call me out or anything for it. So like she's like kind of in that like number 1 category, and then I have like other friends who I'll tell a lot of stuff, but I'm not gonna go into like the
Embarrassing stuff, maybe
the deep embarrassing stuff, you know.
Yeah. So you know that whole tier thing is true a lot of the times. I just think like for my top tier, I might have a few more, you know, like maybe 4 people, probably 3 or 4. But think about this, like if something were to happen to you right now, you needed to talk to someone, you needed to be with one person, and it's not your significant other. It could be your significant other, but us 3, well, me and Randy don't have one.
I got one now. Hey, we're going places.
Hey.
Hey.
But if you needed to call one person, who would that person be? And I think that kind of gives you your answer as to like who your best friend at the current moment is, you know? So that's just something to think about. I don't need answers. It's not really a question. It's just interesting to me. More psychology behind it.
Right.
It's like who's geographically there? Who can you go grab a drink with? Or like who can you call? It doesn't have to be geographically there. Anyway, back to the tier thing. Have you guys ever tried to, like you mentioned like your baseball group and then this group and then other people. Have you ever tried to mix? Like I play hockey, I do photography, got you guys, got my Air Force friends, got my Jersey friends, Nebraska friends, right? They would not match at all. If I wanted to go to a bar, like if I took my Air Force friends and my hockey friends and went to a bar, I've done that before, and it's just it doesn't mesh because you've got different friend groups, right?
Yeah.
And it's strange, man.
I
don't understand it.
I think even you go a step further. Let me see what you think about this. Do you even personally act different in different
100%.
friend groups?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
exactly.
it's interesting, isn't it?
So one way or another, you're gonna look odd to a friend group if you're out with 2.
Yeah.
I think that just puts you back to who you truly are, is when you're in the middle of 2 friend groups where you act differently, you kind of brings out your normal, like who you really are, because you can't like, it's not like to say you're changing behavior to, you know, make people like you, but you're going to like pretty much be right in the middle with how you are.
Yeah. And it could be something as easy as like, you know, Air Force friends are work. We talk about work, you know, we've struggled a lot. My hockey friends are happy. Like we've been through, like we've won games together. We've had that adrenaline together, right? Like, so you're funny and you're joking about. And so like when the serious versus funny kind of matches, it's not to say, like you said, it's not behavioral differences. It's just like different parts of your life meshing, and it doesn't work. And it's very strange.
So funny story, actually.
Go ahead.
So I throw a decent amount of parties. Well, every so often now.
Never invites me.
Yeah,
Dude, I got you next time. I got you.
All right. All right.
It's funny because I will mix them, actually. So, and I actually invite people to my parties based on their personalities. It's really
That's why he doesn't
interesting.
invite me to his parties.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
you.
nobody
Anyway,
wants to hang out with you.
so when I throw these parties, I'll invite. So I have like my honor guard friends, I have my maintenance worker friends, I have my civilian friends because I'm from the area, and I mix all their. I invite them based off their personalities though, because I know who would get along with who, and it's normally my parties are normally around like 12 to 20 tops people, and it's great because they will still and everyone gets along with each other. It's awesome. It's a good time. But you can see the subcategories kind of branch off in there and just
I
talk
was
to each
just
other
gonna
and stick to each
say.
other the entire night. Yep.
Yep. I was just gonna say, I bet you get though like the cliques. You get the little groups.
Yeah, it's all clicks. So like all the maintainers start clicking together. You got the honor guard people who stay together. Civilians will.
And all the civilians
to-
are in the corner, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
What
is
the
with
hell are
these
these
guys?
acronyms? What are they saying? Right?
Nah, they actually do pretty well, kind of like joining in. But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot that's still lost in translation.
But that brings me back to the point of that book made, like 3 to 4. I think that's the magic number. Like I truly believe it's 3 to 4.
Do you know video games actually base their multiplayer system off 4 people? If you play any game, any game, there's a reason behind it. I actually didn't read into it, not yet, but there's a reason why they always do 4. There's squads of 4 in pretty much every game you play now.
Well, dude,
And I thought
magic
about
number.
this. Go ahead, Randy.
old school Nintendo, like Nintendo 64, you had 4 ports.
Everything's 4.
Everything's
GameCube, 4
4.
ports.
Yep.
And I thought about this, right? This is shower thoughts. This is Chris Lettieri, what he thinks about in the shower. I was like, 3 versus 4, what is better? I'm glad we're doing this episode because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. So 3 versus 4. I feel like 3 is the best number because even if someone disagrees, somebody's going to be the tiebreaker, right? Somebody's going to have to decide. And 4, you could be split in half. Like there's gonna be a little bit of battle between 2 and 2,
But
right?
then no one's alone.
I'll say,
But
can I
then
make
no
a
one's alone.
counterpoint? As someone
Go
who's
ahead.
been the third wheel a lot,
Yeah. Well, you're just weird.
shut up. When you're that, well, like sometimes you get to when you're that third person. And I'm not always saying when it's like a guy and a girl and then you, but like even if it's just a group of 3, sometimes you get that where like the 2 people get into like a conversation, they're going, and you're kind of just like sitting there like.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. See, I thought about it like I thought about like the 2 will always. There's always going to be a majority, right?
Mhm.
And so maybe
I
that's where
agree
the
with that
4
too.
comes
That's
in.
Good.
Maybe the 4 comes into play. Like you're always going to have somebody in that small group.
Yeah.
So maybe 4 is the superior number.
Imagine walking around a mall, right? And you're in a group of 3, and the lanes are narrow, and you got just 2 people walking side by side. You got the one person who's either in the front of the pack or the back, and they're alone. You get 4, you got that 2x2 formation going. Everyone's having their conversations with each other.
Maybe 4 is the best number. Maybe 4 is the amount of friends you should have. So 3 friends, right? A 4 friend group. I think that holds true. I think if all of our listeners, like if you listen and you think about it, how many friends do you normally hang out with? And like who is your inner circle? How many are in your inner circle? For me, it's got to be 3 to 4. Like it has to be. And like we've talked about before, it doesn't end there. I've probably got 20, 30 really good friends, but
Yeah, I'm in the same
4.
boat.
Yeah.
I would say it's a 4-person group. It's all about like that 4 is about who do you trust? Who is always there for you no matter what? Who do you stay in contact with every day? And why are they your best friends, right? Like what qualities do they have? Is it the same age group? Are you from the same part of the country together? What is it that makes them your best friend over everyone else? And that always changes, especially for me. That's always changing.
Yeah.
But like I said, you guys, like Joe, you're my brother. I know you're always going to be there. I don't consider you my best friend. You're just like a different category, right?
Not
But-
offended.
Like Randy, again, you were my best friend my entire childhood. You're like tied for first, but my best friend is, for me specifically, is going to be someone geographically who I can hang out with on a daily basis because I need that human interaction.
Yeah.
And that's usually who I build the strongest bonds with, like Rumsey.
Yeah.
It's funny.
You know,
I think
his-
me and you
He's not even here.
share a very good friend of B. Hell's.
We haven't even heard from him today. He's like,
yeah, where is
MIA.
Jared Rumsey? Hashtag where's Jared?
Jared Rumsey? Yeah.
So,
tweeted.
Randy, I know you want to talk about something.
Yeah. So like, kind of one more point I wanted to make, and I think it's also a good sign of people who are your best friends is you can have disagreements with these people and move past it. And to use a good example between Chris and I, when we went on our trip to Montana, there were multiple times that like we got on each other about something or other.
I was pissed off at you for a few things.
Yeah, and I was pissed off at you for a few things.
Yeah,
But the thing
you were pissed
is,
off
like,
at me for being pissed off at you.
But the thing is, like, if
side
we
with
weren't
Randy.
as good of friends as we are, like, I don't know that we would have been able to move past it the way we did. Like, you know, we
right,
might
like
have
you would have held that grudge, right?
right. We like got annoyed at each other over a few things, but then an hour, 2 hours later, it was like, hey man, like, you know what? Sorry, I lost my cool, whatever, and then it was done, and that was it.
Yep.
And
Facts.
I think that's a big part of being good for. Like, I don't even necessarily think that it's necessarily a good thing if your friends agree with you all the time.
Yeah, you almost want like a counterpoint, don't you?
Yeah, and we have talked about this in the past where, like, I know Chris has kind of been this person for me before, and it's not a bad thing to have where somebody might counter a view that you have, or like maybe an action that you think is a good action to take, and they come back and say, well, I don't think that's a very good idea.
Personal story, actually. Back about a year ago, I was like, or almost 2 years ago now, where I was in like a really bad depression state. Just one of the worst times of my life for whatever reason. I was talking to one of my friends, and I was just angry that nobody was like picking up on it, which is unfair. That I was depressed, and I ended up venting a lot of my anger on her, and she came right back at me. She's like, look, I understand you're upset, I understand you're depressed, but don't just take this out on me. Like, I love you, we're great friends, you could tell me anything, but don't be mad at me. And that was kind of like a shot to the gut that I needed. I need those people to say, hey, you're in the wrong, and I step back and I'm like, no, you're right.
Yeah, you need people who are going to check you sometimes.
Yep.
Because sometimes you're in the heat of the moment for whatever the reason is, and you're going to do something stupid. Like, you don't need. I wouldn't consider a good friend somebody who's going to egg you on. I would consider a better friend somebody who's going to say, hey, maybe that's not a great idea. Like, don't do that.
Hundo P.
Right, they're looking out for the better interest of you, right? So
Yeah.
is that going to affect you down the road? And those are your best friends. So yeah, that's a good point, Randy. You definitely need that because, I mean, like Jared is always like, even you, like there's so many instances. I'm not even going to get into them, but you guys for multiple occasions have been there for me where it's like, hey, like I know you're angry, just relax a little bit, breathe a little bit, like look at it from this angle, and you're like, shit, okay, yeah, you're right. I don't know why I was even going down that train, down that road, down that train. Yeah,
I do
Train
train
of
of thought.
thought on the road. Yeah. You just
Yeah.
mixed 'em.
I mixed a bunch of stuff. Anyway, yeah. So I hope you guys learned something. It's just some stuff to think about. We just had some thoughts, wanted to get out there. Maybe you need to trim your friend group. Maybe you need to broaden your friend group to get. Maybe you have that one friend that does just egg you on, and you think that's your best friend, but is it for your best interest? Who knows? So dwell on that. Get this book. Please get this book. It's great. I ordered 2 more, so I'm going to let you guys know when they get here, when I'm done reading them, if I learn anything else from them. Great book. Again, Audible, audiobook link in the description. Thanks, guys. I guess I'll fill in for Jared Rumsey, hashtag where's Jared, because he's not here, with the outro.
Also,
So-
vote on who's got the better mustache, Chris or me.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, this is a mustache. I've been growing it for a week.
Dirt mustache.
There's
This is
about 8 hairs on my lip.
This is
Anyway,
about 10 days and I'm younger. Anyways.
we'll have a poll. Check
I
out
win.
our socials. Maybe we'll post this on Instagram right now for some socials. Subscribe. Click the link in the bio again. We do have a Patreon account linked in the bio. YouTube. We've been posting a lot of stuff, a lot of additional content on YouTube. Our Instagram's been kind of slowed down. We know that. We've all been busy. But the YouTube has been steady. And Randy's down here killing it with the edit game, making sure we have enough content for everyone who wants to watch it. So
Hey,
with that being said,
Real quick,
go ahead.
since Chris
What?
just gave me a shout out, I want to give Chris and Joe a big shout out for making it
Okay.
work tonight, because I was telling
Yeah.
them that I'm going to have like no time to edit this weekend and no time to record. And these guys came through and moved some stuff around and got on here so we could do this tonight and get an episode out for you guys on Monday. So
Boom.
thank you guys for being flexible, being awesome, killing it, rocking it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you boys. Best friends for life. Let's go.
We're brothers. I'm
All
stuck
right.
here.
All right. And until next week, thanks for listening. We'll see you.
ya.
See ya.
Perfect. I love it.
Nice.
I love it.
All right.